studio. I am Inga Samo. President Bola Tinubu has outlined the next phase of his administration's economic agenda, pledging to deepen fiscal discipline, entrench transparency, and ensure policy consistency as he engages global investors in Paris, France. Speaking during a high-level meeting with leading international investment firms, the president said his post-2027 outlook would focus on consolidating reforms already underway while maintaining stability in policy execution. A statement issued by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, quoted the president as saying the focus remains on policy stability and diligent execution to ensure these strategic shifts translate into concrete benefits for all Nigerians. Tinubu, who departed Nigeria on Sunday for a three-nation diplomatic tour, used the meeting to highlight his administration's sweeping economic reform program, which he said is designed to eliminate distortions, stabilize macroeconomic indicators, and lay the groundwork for sustained and inclusive growth. He reiterated the government's commitment to deepening reforms across critical sectors, including enhancing transparency in the oil value chain and deploying a multi-pronged security strategy that features policy decentralization and efforts to disrupt terrorist financing. At the meeting, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Taiwo Oyedele, presented encouraging macroeconomic data, revealing that Nigeria recorded an 11.2% GDP growth in dollar terms in 2025. It said the performance reinforces Nigeria's ambition to grow its economy to $1 trillion by 2030, adding that the government's immediate priority is to translate ongoing reforms into tangible benefits for citizens. Recent reforms by Nigeria Revenue Service suggest a decisive shift toward a more modern, technology-driven tax system. The latest milestone is the launch of Rev 360, a next-generation tax administration platform that signals the agency's transition to what it describes as Tax Administration 3.0. Beyond its technical framing, the initiative represents a broader institutional push to reposition tax collection as a seamless, transparent, and citizen-focused process. At its core, Rev 360 reflects the NRS ambition to move from fragmented and partially disguised systems to a fully integrated digital ecosystem. It is designed to simplify tax processes, provide real-time visibility into transactions, and enhance the overall experience for taxpayers. For a country where compliance has historically been weighed down by bureaucracy and inefficiencies, the implications are significant. The platform builds on a series of reforms implemented in recent years, including electronic filing systems, automated tax identification processes, and digital payment channels. These earlier initiatives laid the groundwork for a more unified system, but our Rev 360 appears to consolidate them into a single intelligent framework capable of handling the full tax life cycle. Speaking on the development, the executive chairman of NRS, Zaj Adedeji, described the platform as a more than just a technological upgrade. The Securities and Exchange Commission said it would take decisive action against listed companies that operate without verifiable, sustainable disclosures. It also charges listed companies with credible disclosures if they hope to access long-term capital. The Director General of SEC, Emomotimi Agama, stated this in Abuja at the official launch of the first Nigerian corporate sustainability report produced by Nuremberger Research. It said the fact that a meaningful number of listed companies still lack coherent stability, disclosures or provide disclosures that are neither structured nor verifiable is a challenge the SEC must confront. He added that the SEC would be responding to the finding in the report with the seriousness they deserve. The SEC boss noted that institutional investors controlling trillions of dollars in assets under management, from sovereign wealth funds in Norway and Singapore to pension funds across North America and Europe, are no longer treating environmental, social, and governance considerations as secondary filters. The Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, John Eno, said one of the major challenges confronting emerging markets, including Nigeria, is the persistent data gap around sustainability and performance on ESG. He said reliable, transparent, and standardized sustainability data remain essential for informed policy making, investment decisions, risk assessment, and long-term economic planning. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says over 40.2 million barrels of crude oil made available by international and independent oil producers in Nigeria were not taken by Dangote Refinery and other local refineries. Indeed, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, in a release signed by its head, Media and Corporate Communication, Eniola Akintotu, said the 40.2 million covers the first quarter of the year. The data showed that while the Commission compelled 61.9 million barrels allocation through the provision of the Petroleum Industry Act, producers collectively offered a higher volume of 68.7 million barrels. It noted that the conversion rate, however, stalled at 28.5 million barrels, translating to a supply of about 36% as of the end of the first quarter in 2026. According to him, the regulator remains committed to achieving the government's objective of energy sufficiency. Meanwhile, on the global scene, crude oil prices extended their rally, with Brent crude rising to $114.16 per barrel. The Nigerian stock market ended April 2026 on a bullish note last week, as strong buying momentum across key sectors lifted the performance indicators of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, with investors recording 26.487 trillion naira in gains during the month. The market was driven by renewed institutional interest in high cap and fundamentally sound stocks, reinforcing the market's resilient uptrend. Specifically, market capitalization, which represents the total value of shares listed on the exchange, grew to 155.696 trillion naira, the highest level on a record this year. Similarly, another major market indicator, the Nigerian Exchange All-Share Index, rose by 20.13% in April, indicating confidence in companies' earnings strength and pricing power in an inflammatory environment. Meanwhile, further week-on-week analysis showed that a total turnover of 4.842 billion shares in 332,453 deals was traded this week on the floor of the exchange. The financial services industry, measured by volume, led the activity chart with 3.755 billion shares, followed by the consumer goods industry and the services industry. And that's it on business news. Stay tuned for the news track at 2 p.m. Good morning.